Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers.
Breaking down the law as we do each and every Wednesday. Now, earlier this month, Epic Games, that's the company behind the very popular video game Fortnite, filed suit against Apple. Now, there are a list of complaints in this suit, including unfair business practices. And as a result of this lawsuit, players of Fortnite are no longer able to update the app or make in-app purchases. We know that there is a hearing scheduled this week on the issue. So we're going to get to it right now with our legal mind here, Matt Hoffmann of Battle-Born Injury Lawyers here. So, you know, there's also a suit that was filed against Google as well, Matt. So what is this lawsuit seeking and what is the basis?
Both lawsuits are, alleging the same things. I think that the Apple lawsuit is the more significant of the two from a legal perspective, and it gets into the whole iOS system. So anybody that has an iPhone or iPad, you understand that you have an app store, and you kind of have to run everything through Apple's ecosystem, and that's what Epic is challenging here. What they're pointing out is that, if you even go to another Apple product like a Mac, you can play Fortnite and you can make in-app purchases. And anybody who's got kids that play Fortnite, there's things called V-Bucks. That's one example. So people can buy V-Bucks in order to upgrade their skins, dances, weapons, things like that. If you do that on a traditional computer or a Mac, you can do those purchases directly through Epic Games. And you can use essentially any payment platform you want, such as PayPal or credit card. Conversely, if you're playing the game on an iPad or an iPhone, you're limited to the iOS ecosystem, and you have to use their system for payment, and you cannot buy it directly from Epic Games. Why that's significant is that the iOS system through Apple, they charge a 30% tax, essentially, or a surcharge. So Epic Games and all these developers have to raise their prices when it's when things are being purchased through the iOS system, which then affects consumers. And so they brought this lawsuit, and they're not seeking any damages for themselves. All they're seeking is a ruling from the court that this violates antitrust rules and that it's a monopoly, and they're seeking to end it on behalf of all developers.
Well, Matt, just as we're kind of wrapping our heads around this and kind of wrapping things up here, where does this go from here? I know you have a lot of players saying, hey, what's next?
Yeah, and I think that it's an interesting argument by Epic Games. It's a valid argument. The problem they're going to have is that Apple's going to say, look, that's the rules within our ecosystem, but this is Fortnite. There's 350 million users. There's so many platforms. People aren't forced to use, our iOS system to play this. They can play it on Xbox. They can play it on their computers, whatever. So the argument that Epic Games is going to make is it comes out of a 1992 case, the Kodak case, basically saying that by the nature of your product, purchasers, consumers are locked in, and they really have no realistic choice to get out of that system. And it's a valid argument because iPhones are extremely expensive, and it's rare for somebody to buy one and then switch. And that's the argument they're going to make. I will say the court did rule today that the developers can have access for continued developmental tools, but they did not rule in Epic's favor on the preliminary injunction to get back on the platform. So if they want to put everything back on the platform, they got to pay the 30% tax or wait until the court rules on the ultimate issue.
All right, well, stay tuned, as they say. I know a lot of players will be waiting to see kind of how this all shakes out. So, Matt, thank you so much, staying on top of it as you always do and helping us wrap our minds around all the legalese as we try to talk about issues that are relevant to all of us. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me.